Brisbane Roar. Caught sleeping there. Just a lovely little pocket from Gerhardt there, and he's just offside. Good decision there from the referee and the linesman to get that one right, and Brisbane Roar get a breather.
A lot of pressure on the American. $35 million transfer from Red Bull Salzburg, where he starred last season. Did spend some time there under Jesse Marsh. That's Jay O'Shea on the ball for Brisbane Roars. They look just to calm things down. That would have been the worst start possible for Brisbane.
Yeah, it looks like Brisbane Roar have started in a 4-4-2 formation. Akbari will sort of support Knowles just from behind, and I think Leeds will be a little bit similar, 4-2-3-1, with Rodrigo sort of going up to support Gerhardt as well.
Well, Leeds really looking to spring forward. And the defensive area of the pitch is where Leeds are keen to improve this season. They had a number of options last year in Koch, Cooper, Llorente and Strauch. Tonight it's Robin Koch and Strauch with that centre-back partnership, and that's an area of the pitch that Jesse Marsh will be looking to hone in on in this pre-season to get right after they conceded the second most in the Premier League last year. Akbari saw some space out to the left. Mile Uznic, we might get to have a look at him in some open pastures tonight. 36 kilometres an hour, his top speed. He certainly is a flyer.
We can already see that Brisbane Roar are going to sit off Leeds as expected. Obviously, they've not had any game time so far this season. As we see them get down the right wing there with Christensen, the new signing.
He's done well there, Brindle South, to pinch it off Christensen. And now James, the Welsh international, dropping it to the Danish international. There's plenty of them out there with international experience in white. Last time they came up against A-League men's opposition, it was a last-minute 2-1 win over Western Sydney a few years ago for Leeds United. Hernandez with the winner deep in stoppage time. Maybe they'll be hoping for a little bit more comfortable a showing tonight.
Yeah, it was a wonderful atmosphere that night, Ben. I remember, I think it was Yeboah who actually scored the goal for Western Sydney that night too, from memory.
He did, and Mateusz Bogusz scoring as well for Leeds. A somewhat forgotten man. So much expected of him after that showing.
I think one of the surprises for Brisbane Roar this evening is Kai Truan actually playing in the middle of midfield and Connor Chapman actually dropping back to centre-back. I think a lot of people would have thought that would have been the other way around, but as it is, Connor Chapman, more experience, playing in the back for Brisbane Roar tonight. I think they expect a lot of business at that end. They have to really keep the ball well, Ben, when they get it.
Yeah, it's Leeds dominating possession at the moment. And they'll win the throw here, thanks to Joe Gelhardt. Had a big role to play at the back end of last season with that injury to Pat Bamford. Starting up top tonight. Forshaw. Christensen just trying to roll it into the path of James. Turned over again by Brisbane. But they're back in possession now, the Roar, but then the white shirts converged on Henry Hoare. He has fortunately won a free kick, but you can see the intensity early on from Leeds United, swamping any Brisbane player with possession.
Yeah, it was well played by Henry Hoare there. Had to keep the ball for his team. Got a foul. Allows Brisbane just to reset, get a breather, try and get up the pitch.
Connor Chapman looking to launch that free kick. And Robin Koch just using his body well to ensure it's a goal kick. It's been in and out of the German national side as Robin Koch, the Centre back in possession now. Did score in that 4-0 win against Blackpool last week for Leeds. A heavy touch from Brindle South, just allowing Leeds possession once again. And it is Koch who is floating it over the top. Gelhardt sees the run of Christensen, looking for it, but Connor Chapman awake to the danger. Big season for Connor Chapman as well. He arrived earlier this year with Brisbane Roar and had some injury issues. The former Joey's captain got going at the back end of the season, got 4 appearances under his belt, but big time for him in the A-League men's after the last couple of seasons in Korea.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You know, he's an experienced player now. He's been around the A-League and obviously been around Asia now a lot. It's good to see him back fit as well. Ex-teammate of mine at Western United before he went back over to South Korea, and has a lot to offer. So he just needs to stay fit for Brisbane Roar, and he could be a key player for them.
So plenty of space out wide here for Jack Harrison, who's at left back tonight, and he's sliding it back into the path of Rodrigo. Of course, his fellow countryman, Rafinha, basically on the way to Barcelona. Reports are that the terms have been agreed, and it's a big loss for Leeds United as Jack Harrison brings it under control, but a heavy touch is pounced on by Jack Hingett, who said in the pre-game that he's fanboying tonight.
Yeah, well, he was needing an oxygen tank while he was talking there in the warm-up. It's not easy to talk and actually running around, particularly when you've not played any games yet.
Robin Koch has a go from distance. Why not? He did score against Blackpool last week from a little bit closer in. The German having a go.
Yeah, it was a decent effort there, wasn't it? It's a decent sort of 30 yards out. Brisbane Roar give him a bit of space. They need to close those spaces down a little bit quicker, or else, you know, Leeds will line them up all night long.
Fascinating backstory, the German who was playing in the German lower leagues. Then he was signed by Kaiserslautern, a famous part of Germany for Australian football fans. Played a few seasons there and then went to Freiburg before he was signed by Leeds. So it's been a rapid rise the last 5 years. So Mark Roja, one of those new signings, just dropping in, feeding Harrison, who's linking with Aronson. The hero, of course, of that win over Brentford in the final match day of the Premier League. And giving away a free kick.
Yeah, it was well worked back from Knowles. Obviously, Brisbane Roar want to see a little bit more of him higher up. Big night for him, Ben. Obviously on trial with Brisbane Roar from Oakley Cannons in the Victorian NPL. So really excited to see what he can bring to the table for Brisbane Roar. Obviously looking for more attacking options. They've got Charlie Austin now, but still looking for more goals in the team.
Yeah, exciting. Really exciting for Joe Knowles tonight. 15 appearances in the A-League with Perth Glory. Did actually score in the A-League against Newcastle Jets in that 17-18 season. But outside of that, since then, limited opportunities after he headed over to Scotland to play in the lower divisions there, and then headed to the NPL WA with Joondalup before eventually ending up in Victoria, where he's been in fine form this season. 11 goals in 21 for Oakley. So Brisbane would love him to bring a few more goals to their attack, which has been an issue for them last season. Pressure on Macklin Freak, and it forces a current pass. Daniel James giving him not much time to think.
There's a great example of, you know, Leeds' high press there. You know, something that Jesse Marsh will be tirelessly working upon, particularly in pre-season. He talked about it in his build-up yesterday about getting the players now to get the processes of what he wants. When he come through the door, it was all about results. Now it's about trying to get that style of play in.
Harrison trying to fire that pass towards Rodrigo. He'll get a chance to recalibrate and go again thanks to Brisbane turning over possession. The Dutchman Struijk to Robin Koch, and now Forshaw. Spoke about that wretched run with injury, fractured his kneecap in training in April. Floated over the top, looking again for Aronson, getting himself in some good areas in this opening 11 minutes. As I was saying, Forshaw, first match since April against Blackpool last week, working his way back from that kneecap injury. That is a lovely pass, but it just held up slightly in the grass for Mile Jusnic, because if it got there before Christensen, it would have been a real foot race between the man who actually used to play in Denmark with Randers, Mile Jusnic, up against the Danish right fullback Christensen tonight. Aronson.
Already, Ben, you can see for Brisbane Roar's wingers, it's going to be a long evening. Leeds United's fullbacks are going really, really high and wide. The two wingers are inverting, so it's making a 1v1 situation. So they have to always be alert on that. And you see it now just building up. Christensen on that right-hand side. He's free. Here we go.
He's almost out of picture. He's that wide. Yep. Rasmus Christensen. And he's taking on Brindle South, touching the pass. And Rodrigo linking up, and somehow Brisbane have kept it from crossing the line. It was a pinball in the box, but now a chance for the Roar to break quickly through the speedster Mile Jusnic. The early ball, and Leeds doing enough to douse that attack from Brisbane Roar. But end-to-end football, the most entertaining passage in this first quarter hour on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, first of all, great play from Leeds United, going from one side to the other and then getting Daniel James, you know, in that sort of inverted position inside the box, gets a cross in. I think Fred gets a block. I think Tommy Aldred gets the final block before they get on the counter-attack with Mile Jusnic. And I think it was just a little bit of a touch there from the centre-back that just didn't allow it to get to Akbari there. So it was a really good touch from the defender of Leeds.
And what created that situation, as Scotty was just touching on, that width offered by Christensen down the right. And now to the left, Forshaw drills the pass to Harrison. He's dancing, trying to get past Jack Hingett with some skill. Gilhart ran into a brick wall in the form of O'Shea.
That's a big problem for Brisbane Roar. When they win the ball back, they've got nowhere to go with it. Everyone's so deep right now that they haven't got an outlet. So they probably need Knowles just to stay out the picture a little bit and try and defend a little bit more with 9 rather than the full 10, just to try and get you up the pitch a little bit.
Harrison, and deflected away by Kai Trewin. One of the shining lights for Brisbane Roar last season. We touched on a little earlier, Leeds' issues were defensive last season. For Brisbane, it was at the other end of the pitch. Kai Trewin, Tom Aldred, even though he was injured for the first part of the season. So crucial, that combination, as well with Scott Neville, who's on the bench tonight for Brisbane. And Rodrigo floating towards James. Chapman gets it away momentarily for Brisbane, and Koch, oh, he went flying up and over the top of Knowles and may have landed awkwardly on his neck. It was an awful looking way he headed towards the turf.
He's jumped up early. It's one of those ones that can go either way as well, Ben, in terms of the foul given, because the striker doesn't really play the ball. He just stands there and waits for it, which is well within his right. Sort of the centre back just comes across you. I probably would have done the same thing. Stood and waited and probably took the foul. It's not a nice one, though. hopefully he's okay and he gets back up and he can play on.
It was almost pole vaulting over the top of Knowles, so let's hope he's all right. Let's get a thought from Tristan McManus, who's downstairs for us tonight. Leeds United fan, and he's absolutely loving it. Tristan, how's the atmosphere down there?
Oh, I tell you, mate, it's great. I feel like Jesse Marsh here. I'm standing. I know these are standard Channel 10 football clothes, but I feel like Jesse Marsh here standing pitch side. I was told to step back a couple of steps there before because I was nearly on the pitch directing stuff. It was a bit of a nasty fall there for Robin Koch. Going over the top there, coming down his neck. It didn't look very good. He's just about to get up now. At this stage, well, at this stage of any game, I mean, injuries is the last thing that you want to do, especially in pre-season here. Funny little thing here. I haven't seen anyone warming up just yet, but I have seen the fourth official. It looks like the lino on this line might have done his calf. He's taking it a bit handy walking up and down. But I know the fourth official has been warming up a little bit, so we might see him before any substitutes. Robin's just taking a step off here beside me. Personally, I wouldn't be taking any chances with anyone, certainly when it comes to a neck, but he seems to be in good spirits there, and Jesse's just gave him a tap on the back. Great game so far, guys. I'll let you back at it.
Yeah, thanks, Tristan. Maybe you'll get a go at fourth official if Alex King gets on the line. I'd love to see that. Mile Jusnic. So finally, Brisbane with some sustained possession, and yeah, it hasn't been long, but this is probably one of their best runs of possession in the match thus far. It's been dominated, as you would expect, by the English Premier League side. Good ball from Freak. Attempted flick over the top from Henry Hoare. And now Knowles. Good touch. Finds some space. Hoare with the early delivery. And Christensen concedes the corner. So a set piece here for Brisbane Roar inside the opening 20.
Yeah, that's much better from Brisbane Roar, right from the back all the way back up to the attacking third there. Lots of good build-up play, and that will give them confidence. You know, we talked about in the build-up to this game, they've not played any friendlies, so a nice little touch from Knowles. Hoare putting the ball across. Just Akbari just couldn't get there, and well defended by Christensen.
Well, Brisbane's last match was back in that Australia Cup qualifier in May. 3-1 win over Western Sydney, and then they went into their off-season. And they've only just come back, so taking a while to find their feet. But here's an opportunity for Jay O'Shea, who's delivering towards Aldred. Kai Trewin got an inadvertent touch on it. Brindle South, his pass may invite opportunity down the other end, but was well covered by Hingett. Trewin around the corner. Joe Knowles finding himself in some space again. Isn't it incredible? He's playing NPL Victoria, Joe Knowles, just a few weeks ago, and now he's playing against Leeds United.
Yeah, it's a dream come true, isn't it, in some respects? But it's great to see some NPL talent getting the opportunity as well to come out. Obviously, like to see some of that Brisbane youth as well come through, the youth talent, and hopefully we'll see a couple of them come on this evening as well for the experience, because I think it's going to be a big ask for Brisbane Roar and the players that are out there tonight, right now, to play a full 90, particularly when they've not played any minutes so far.
Yeah, we've got a few of those on the bench tonight for Brisbane. A few trialists like Joe Knowles trying to earn a spot in Warren Moon's squad for the upcoming season. Christensen now down the other end of the park, looking to start off some Leeds attack, but well snuffed out again by Brisbane Roar. Daniel James just getting a knock. Looked a little ginger for the moment. Gelhardt back to Rodrigo. All got very narrow there for Leeds. Made it easy for Brisbane to win back possession. And now a free kick given away by Strauch. A little too robust in that challenge with Knowles.
Not much in it for me, but the linesman thought differently. It is pre-season after all.
Jesse Marsh watching on. And Warren Moon began his time with Brisbane back in 2020, just after the start of the pandemic, after Robbie Fowler left. And now beginning his third full season in charge in 2022-23.
Yeah, it's a big season for Warren and for Brisbane Roar. Obviously, it's great to see them going back to Suncorp this season as well. So down the right.
Mileusnic versus Strauch. Was well blocked by Strauch. It doesn't go out for a corner or a throw. And now a chance for Leeds in transition. Foreshore. He was harassed and harried by Akbari. That's a poor pass that's well cut out. Jay O'Shea holding off Roja, who had a little nibble, and the Irishman earns a free kick for Brisbane. So they're just getting a foothold in this match, Brisbane.
Yeah, it was a little bit sloppy from Rodrigo there. Picked up in a nice little pocket just on the halfway line and didn't execute the pass, and Jay O'Shea was there, and Jay O'Shea doing what he does really, really well, keeping the ball for his team and then getting a foul, and now the ability to put a set piece into Leeds United's box.
There he is, Tommy Aldred, the captain of Brisbane. O'Shea really drilled it. Not the accuracy you would have liked. And it's Hingett floating. And Mileusnic. And Gelhardt's clearance only as far as Truant. Now Mileusnic knows he's come from an offside position. And that to give the game away.
I think Warren will be pleased. 22 minutes in, not too many chances for Leeds, just that one little scare, you could say, and the offside goal. But they're growing into the game, Ben.
Yeah, that they are. Almost conceded inside the opening 20 seconds, but disallowed for offside. There's some space opening up here for Daniel James.
Curse of the commentator, Ben.
That it is, and it's the Welshman who strikes first in this friendly. It had some blistering power behind it, too much for Macklin Freak.
Wonderful finish there from Daniel James. That's why Leeds United signed him to score big goals for them. As we can see in the Harvey Norman replay, lovely little overs there from Gelhardt. Foreshore finding Daniel James, and Brindle South just doesn't get across quick enough. Macklin Freak, he'd be really disappointed to get beat at his near post, but it was a wonderful strike from Daniel James. And now they're off and running. 1-0 Leeds United.
Yeah, the young man who was going to sign for Leeds back in 2019 from Swansea. But that deal was scuppered on deadline day. There's footage of him doing the photo shoot, getting everything sorted. And then he went to Manchester United, of course, and now, after time at one of Leeds' big rivals, he's with the Whites and scoring in this Queensland Champions Cup to get things started. And now you just feel the confidence will be flowing a little bit more for Leeds, and it was the moment where Brisbane probably looked the most comfortable, as you were touching on, Scotty. And how often does it happen?
Yep.
Just drop your guard a touch.
Yep. Curse of that commentator once again. No, but talking about Daniel James, wonderful goal for him. And you know, in these pre-season games, it's always great to get off the mark, Ben.
On Gelhardt, he's just gone beyond Aldred, and the pass goes astray. Rodrigo's going to have to catch up with it. Christensen making the run down the right. Rodrigo shaping up on the left. That's silky skills from the Spaniard. James drives it across. Gelhardt with the back heel to Foreshore. And now Daniel James again. Why not have another try? He floats it, and it's 2-0. Leeds are putting on a show now. And it's Gelhardt who got up and nods in the second for the Whites.
Phenomenal play from Leeds. Like you touched on there, Ben, confidence is riding high after the first goal. Brisbane Roar have a job on their hands now tonight. This is wonderful play right from start to finish. Rodrigo there, James having the first strike, Gelhardt playing it back out, Foreshore playing the diag. And then I'm thinking, shoot James. No, he dinks one to the back stick. And you've got to say it's a wonderful up and header from Gelhardt. Strong in the air, back post, and nothing really Macklin Freak can do with that.
And you could almost say Joe Gelhardt finishing off his good work, because he was able to reset that attack with the back heel to foreshore just as it looked as though things were breaking down, and he finishes it off after that very cute delivery.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Ben. And you know what? One thing that Jesse Marsh will be really, really pleased with is his centre forward scoring inside the 6-yard box. Like you said, he did reset it, but where was he? He got straight back into that 6-yard box, and it was a wonderful ball from Daniel James right to the back stick. And you know, Jack Hingett will probably be disappointed. He was in a standing position, and it's always dangerous as a fullback when you're in that position when someone's coming on the run on you.
Joe Gelhardt, the Liverpool fan growing up, played his youth football with Wigan Athletic before signing with Leeds in 2020. This is his 3rd season. Got on the score sheet a couple of times last season in the Premier League. And 7 goals in 10 in the Premier League 2 competition. So a real rising star, the 20-year-old. And Patrick Bamford has got a real battle on his hands up against the youngster, as this was Henry Hoare getting hit flush on the face. When you're not expecting it, it's not a pleasant experience, is it?
Flush. It's a cold night out there, particularly for Queenslanders, Ben. It's cold out there for them, so that wouldn't have been nice on the old face there, on the old cheekbone.
Yeah, and he is a Queenslander through and through, Henry Hoare. Youth football on the Sunshine Coast. Rodrigo being allowed space to roam. Freak is out to claim. Another dangerous ball. Daniel James in there hunting another goal.
Yeah, Leeds have just got that overload in the middle of the pitch with that extra man, Rodrigo, with Brisbane Roar playing 4-4-2 at times. They're overloading that midfield, making it very, very, very difficult. And when they don't get success through the middle, they go wide in those 1v1 situations with their fullbacks. So lots for Warren to think about with Brisbane Roar at the moment. Possibly need a change, I think.
O'Shea earning the whistle. See Rodrigo coming through there. Important period of the season for him after a mixed couple of seasons.
That's wonderful feet there, isn't it, Ben? Jay O'Shea at his best.
Yeah, he's such a maestro in that midfield for Brisbane Roar. The 33-year-old actually played with Liam Cooper, the Leeds captain, at Chesterfield, but of course Liam not in the side tonight.
No, he's hugely a key player for Brisbane Roar. You know, 10 assists last season. Only a couple of goals. He always wants more goals when I talk to Jay, but you know, his assists are something else in terms of for Brisbane Roar as a football club, and he'll be looking for a little bit of help. It's good to see Charlie Austin in, you know, Riku Danzaki back at the football club as well. So positive signs for Brisbane Roar for this season.
And we could see a change on the way here, and this is another one of the new men, the Colombian Luis Sinisterra. He signed from Feyenoord, and didn't he have a magnificent season last campaign in the Eredivisie, but also in the Europa Conference League. 23 goals across 49 appearances. That's across all competitions, but he scored 11 goals in the Europa Conference League to go with 12 in the Eredivisie. So yeah, he is coming off a wonderful season in the Netherlands and also in Europe. So what can he add to this Premier League side?
Well, they'll be hoping goals, won't they, Ben? Because they hugely missed Patrick Bamford last season, and if he does get injuries, then they need someone else to go and replace those goals.
Christensen, James, Aronson arriving. So too was the charging Harrison. He couldn't beat Freak. And Brisbane, they get away with one there. It looked almost certain to be 3 goals for Leeds.
Again, just down those wide areas in between centre-backs and full-backs. They keep getting hurt down there, right and left. Here's Harrison once again.
Harrison's delivery too powerful. He's one of these men being trolled in that left-back role. It is tough, though, to gauge against weaker opposition. With as much due respect to Brisbane, they're a different kettle of fish to Premier League opposition. As we see this change on the way. So the goal scorer, Daniel James. Obviously, Jesse Marsh has seen enough. He's happy with his performance. And Luis Sinisterra, the new recruit, the Colombian. He's played 5 times for the national team, as we said before. A wonderful season, most recently with Feyenoord in the Eredivisie.
I was talking to our mad Leeds United fan down on pitch side, Tristan there, and he was really excited to see this fella, and he seems to believe that this guy's got huge capabilities, and it's one that they signed for, you could say in Premier League terms, a small fee of 21 million these days, and probably look to sell him on for bigger money once he hits his straps for Leeds United. So we'll soon see, won't we?
Yeah, just 23 years of age, so plenty of potential in the Colombian. And here he is, first touch. You won't miss him with the fluoro green boots. Roja. And Gelhardt getting about again. He's causing all kinds of problems for the Brisbane defence. Why don't we go down and check in with Tristan? Tristan, how excited are you to see the Colombian out there?
Oh, I think it's fantastic, Ben. Yeah, it really is. It's interesting to change the formation here because Aronson has come over to the right wing where we thought he might have started. Yeah, look, at 30 minutes in, I think it's enough for Dan James tonight. Dan James, for Leeds last year, a lot of people really had to pull together as a team, play positions they weren't familiar with, and it was very tough for Dan James to come in. He had to play a lot of roles up front last season, and he's just not a striker. It's great to see him on the goal on the score sheet tonight, and he got an assist as well. That's what you want to see. That's what he was bought for. Keeper shouldn't have been beaten on his front post for that Dan James goal, but I'm delighted it's gone in for him. Joffe as well, getting the second one. He's awesome. He gets the crowd going every single time. Rodder's there. Rodrigo still has a lot to prove with a lot of Leeds fans. A couple of misplaced passes already, which we've come to expect from him, but hopefully he can have a better game here today. It's only pre-season, but there's a lot of eyes on this Leeds team, a new formation, new manager, new team.
Thanks, Tristan. So Dan James gets the big tick from Tristan McManus there on the sideline.
Leeds United encyclopedia, isn't he? It's just as well Leeds play on weekends and he works during the week, isn't it?
We are absolutely loving the analysis from Leeds United fan Tristan McManus. Great to have him part of the coverage here on Network 10 tonight. Mark Roja kind of feeds Sinisterra. O'Shea put under some pressure there by Gelhardt. See how crucial he is. Good turn here from Mac Bari, who looks up and sees the space down the right in the form of Henry Hoare, and he's delivering towards Mile Jusnic. Well cut out, and Brendan Aronson now is going to earn a whistle for Leeds as O'Shea rifles a shot at goal. It's not going to matter as the whistle has gone from Barrera.
And that was better from Brisbane Roar down that right-hand side. Again, Hawes had a little bit of joy on Harrison's side playing left-back. You talked about that earlier. Wonderful little turn there from Aronson. But yeah, this is the time to try these things, Ben. We talked about Harrison, playing left-back because they've got injuries in that position. I think when you play weaker opposition, it's good to see actually the pictures of if he can play there or not. A lot of time between now and the window, so it'll be interesting to see if they do find a replacement.
Well, again, he's beaten by Henry Hoare, Jack Harrison. Can he find the delivery, the youngster? Links with O'Shea, dwelled on possession too long, and Forshaw picked at his pocket. And now Brendan Aronson making himself available. Connor Chapman mopping it up for Brisbane Roar. That's brilliant work. But there's a problem for the American.
Didn't seem to be too much in that one. It seemed a fair tackle, but as we see here in the replay, Yeah, it's just a 50-50. He's left his ankle in there. His ankle's been stuck in there, I think, and a little bit of a sore one for him. The follow through of Connor Chapman.
Brendan Aronson signed in May from Red Bull Salzburg, where he played 41, 6 goals.
Club now expected to go and sign for Barcelona in the coming days. They'll be expecting big things from Aronson. Another one of those Red Bull links for Jesse Marsch. He knows all about the boy. He's got a couple of Americans in with Adams as well. So looking forward to seeing these guys and what they produce.
Jesse Marsch just making sure Brendan Aronson is all sweet and good to continue. He spoke about those Red Bull links. He was, of course, from Salzburg, and then Tyler Adams, who signed from Leipzig. He's on the bench tonight. Christensen from Red Bull Salzburg. And then Mark Roja, who's out there at the moment. Another one of those recruits. He was so impressive against Blackpool last week. Leeds fans very impressed. Here he is charging after the ball, getting a good touch to foreshore. The whistle is going to go against the Spaniard, but he's only played 15 matches across the last 2 seasons with Bayern, only 4 starts in that period. So he's just going to want to get some game time in this pre-season, you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously comes from good pedigree, being at Bayern Munich, obviously top team in the world, and you know, applied his trade, you know, Espanyol before that, you know, in the La Liga. So, you know, top player and someone that Jesse Marsch would have seen a lot of in the Bundesliga as well. So, you know, so he knows these players. The ones he's brought in are all ones that he's seen before and knows and trusts. So it'd be interesting to see how much football he's going to play tonight. I'd imagine it will be a lot, just like you said, because he's not played a lot.
Yeah, good spell at Espanyol, as you touched on before that time at Bayern. So certainly a man full of quality. But the left back potentially is going to cause some headaches for Jesse Marsch. Jack Harrison has been beaten on a number of occasions by Henry Hoare, and he was one of their leading marksmen last season. 10 goals across all competitions, including 8 in the Premier League. Here he is. Sinistera. Ensuring Jack Hingett's got some work to do. And the pass overhit by Rodrigo. So Brisbane just frustrating Leeds at the moment.
Yeah, they're just looking to hang in there now till half-time, get a breather, get a little team talk, and it'll be interesting to see how many changes Warren Moon does change at half-time. I think there'll be quite a few, being that this is their first hit-out of the season.
Yeah, and we could see 2 new teams in the second half. Looking forward to seeing who both coaches put out there. Mile Jusnic, fed by Akbari, returns it to Akbari, and the block falls into the path of Joe Knowles, and the trialist, who's been piling in the goals in Victoria, scores against Premier League opposition. How incredible is that?
What a story here. Near enough in that 6-yard box. Absolutely delighted. Wonderful story for the boy and for Brisbane Roar now to be back in the game, Ben.
And they deserve that, Brisbane. They have created some opportunities in this first half. Somewhat concerning for Leeds, the ease at which Brisbane were able to enter the box.
Yeah, they just switched off there a little bit, didn't they? They had an easy sort of possession for 5 minutes there, and I don't think Jesse Marsch will be too pleased with the tracking back there. He expects his team to work hard off the ball, and they were caught napping.
Wow. Don't you just love football? 11 goals in 21 for Oakley Cannons in the NPL Victoria. And he's trialling tonight for Brisbane Roar, and he scores a goal. And with the likes of Denzaki, Austin, if he gets an opportunity, in the squad, Joe Knowles. If he earns a contract, he'll certainly be trying to help out an attack which stuttered last season. Leeds now looking to push out to a 2-goal margin once again. Stroud. Here's Cock. Forshaw. And Rodrigo returning it to Stroud. Roja. And Harrison linking up. It's a heavy pass from Sinisterra, and it beat Jack Harrison.
Great one-touch, two-touch play there from Leeds United. It seems to have woken them up a little bit there, hasn't it? You know, that goal in terms of their determination, trying to get through. As we see again, the replay here, Akbari getting the opportunity, comes off Struick, and there's what all good strikers do, following in. Lovely first touch, I must say, because it just comes off, you know, Struick very, very quickly. And his first touch was excellent for his second one to be his first goal for Brisbane Roar in Roar colours. And who knows, many more to come possibly.
Well, I know the panel are going to analyse all of the first half. Roy O'Donovan, Daniel McBreen, hosted by Neve Owens. That's coming up at half-time, so they'll be putting the microscope over that goal. But I'll come back to you with a question on that, Scotty. Should have Jack Harrison been in that position after it ricocheted off Stroud? Was that his assignment?
Instinctively, you could say yes. I think you could pick the holes out of it, like all goals, Ben, like all good coaches and managers do, and won't blame one person at heart. There was a few things there, but yes, I would say naturally a defender would sniff that one out and instinctively be there with the centre forward, and he wasn't there on that occasion.
It's that left back area which is just going to be concerning Leeds fans at the moment. They have got Leif Davis on the bench, so maybe an opportunity for him in the second half. Christensen, the right back, off the knee. He just got himself a bit tangled up, the Dane. And now pinched by Harrison. This is where he is dangerous, going forward, feeding Rodrigo. He looked to play the 1-2 and finish it all off, but snuffed out by Brisbane. Pretty tame giveaway again from Rodrigo. But Brisbane gift possession back to the Whites. So inside the final 90 seconds of regulation time in this first half on the Gold Coast. Christensen. Can the American create here? Couldn't beat Kai Truan. Showed him no space. Christensen. Patient from Leeds. Can it produce a goal? Harrison to Sinisterra. Doesn't open up for the Colombian. Just the one additional minute in this first half. Create one final opportunity to restore the 2-goal buffer. And the pass overhit from Harrison. So that the left, Sinisterra and Harrison had some promising moments in this first half, but also just that final pass letting them down on occasion.
Yeah, but there was some wonderful play there from Leeds, albeit they didn't break Brisbane Roar down. But I can tell you this, Bet, when you're playing in those types of situations as a player that's not having the ball and you're in such a low block and you're getting switched from side to side, that would have absolutely sapped the energy out of those Brisbane Roar players. And the more you're patient and you can get it from side to side, you're sooner or later going to get in, and they almost did there. And I think we'll see more of that in the second half.
So an encouraging first half from both sides. Leeds grabbing those 2 goals inside the opening part of that first half. Joe Gelhardt with the second after the opening goal from Dan James. And then Brisbane Roar, the man on trial, Joe Knowles, who's been playing for Oakley Cannons in the NPL in Victoria, grabbed a goal to bridge the deficit to just 1 at half-time. It's Leeds United 2, Brisbane Roar 1.
Eindelijk vakantie. Tijd voor familie. Oh ja. En daar moeten we op klikken. Vakantie.
Oasis, de fruitigste bron van family fun. Nieuw, Oasis Iced Tea Perzik. Laag in calorieën, fantastische smaak van perzik.
Bij Kruidvat vind je alles voor de vakantie.
Hello.
The sun cream.
This one?
Is it factor 40?
Yes, 40 euro.
40 euros.
Yes.
Goed voorbereid, groot voordeel. Daarom nu bij 2 stuks van onder meer L'Oréal een strandtas gratis. Kruidvat, steeds verrassend, altijd voordelig.
...17 mei 2011. Een jongeman van 19 viert zijn eerste Belgische titel na een wedstrijd tegen Standaard. Het is het begin van een indrukwekkend palmares. Maar hoe startte het parcours van de jongen uit Drongen? Het antwoord krijg je hier, het avontuur van een genie, made in de Pro League. Het verhaal van Kevin De Bruyne begint met 2 anonieme invalbeurten op het einde van het seizoen 2008-2009. Hij krijgt 9 minuten op Charleroi en 6 minuten tegen Anderlecht. Veel te weinig om het publiek te laten wennen aan zijn babyface en dus maken we een afspraak voor volgend seizoen. In het seizoen 2009-2010 moet De Bruyne maar liefst 17 wedstrijden wachten op zijn eerste doelpunt. Maar het is meteen wel een pareltje.
Daar de voer ook De Bruyne. En nu gaat hij er wel in via de paal. Schitterende knal van Kevin De Bruyne. Wat trapt hij geweldig naar doel.
Ja, dat is mooi, hè? De eerste goal. En als je dan zo'n goal scoort, dat is natuurlijk prachtig om zo te scoren. Maar gewoon een goal is ook goed, maar het is gewoon mooi.
De tiener werd gebracht door Van Hazenbroek, maar zijn eerste doelpunt en assist volgen pas onder Verkouteren. 2 keer tegen Standaard, maar wel in 2 verschillende wedstrijden.
Barda. De Bruyne. Barda met de kans, die moet hij maken. Trapt hem binnen. Het is 1-0 voor Racing Genk en het is ook verdiend te noemen. Elianif Barda heeft zijn goal. Een puntertje, intelligent paasje was het ook van Kevin De Bruyne. Klasse paas.
Als bij toeval wordt KDB pas echt beslissend in de succesvolle play-off 2-campagne van Racing Genk.
Entre 3 Carolo, la passe est magnifique. En direction de De Bruyne qui aime ce genre de position, rentre dans le jeu, le crochet, le gauche maintenant et le troisième. Ah, il est magnifique ce but-là. Pour le jeune Kevin De Bruyne, dont le sourire n'a d'égal que le talent sans doute.
Huizegem, Sanelig goed geïnfiltreerd. Dit is ook Onchimi. En De Bruyne dan maar, jawel, daar is de vonk voor Racing Genk in de vorm van Kevin De Bruyne. En plots is de hoop weer helemaal terug. De Bruyne trapt de hoekschop Deelkes, laat zich vloeren. En het is 0-1 voor Racing Genk. En Deelkes zegt dat hij werd gehinderd, maar het staat wel 0-1.
Pas vanaf het seizoen erop zien we voor het eerst de grote toekomst van de toen nog timide De Bruyne. Zijn eerste doelpunten zetten meteen de toon.
De Bruyne, oh, il parvient celle-là. Oh, quel but de De Bruyne. Mais ce garçon est extraordinaire. exceptionnel. Il s'était échauffé le pied il y a quelques minutes. Là, il vient de mettre le feu à la Gantoise avec un tir venu d'ailleurs. En tout cas, Jorgasevic, il ne sait pas d'où il est venu.
Non, il ne sait pas d'où il est venu. En tout cas, il est bien rentré dans la cage. Belle frappe de nouveau, premier poteau. Tout le monde croit qu'il va de nouveau enrouler en force, mais premier poteau.
Vorig jaar heb ik misschien goed gespeeld, maar ja, de statistieken moeten gevuld worden. Dat is altijd zo. En ik ben blij dat het nu goed gaat, ook al geef ik nog niet zoveel assist. Maar als we samen die doelpunten scoren, is goed genoeg voor mij.
De Bruyne doet het rechtstreeks binnen. Fantastisch doelpunt van Kevin De Bruyne. Ik gaf het al aan, ze zitten in een periode waarin alles lukt. De Bruyne zoekt zijn rechter, de voorzet. En gaat erin. Baguet beoordeelt die bal verkeerd. Wordt ook nog wel geduwd.
Oko wijst wel naar het midden, maar ik denk dat hij... Nee, geen overtreding, zegt hij. 3-0.
Vooral de kwaliteit van zijn passen springt in het oog. Hoe kan je dit nog weerstaan?
En dan De Bruyne van op de linkerkant. Mooie beweging van De Bruyne, opletten. Dit kan gevaarlijk worden. En de goal voor Racing Genk. Het is geen buitenspel. Het doelpunt voor de Limburgers 0-1 na bijna een kwartier spelen. En het is opnieuw Kevin De Bruyne die aan de basis ligt van deze goal. Hij de man met de actie, hij de man met de assist.
De Bruyne is dan al vooral een passeur, maar hij scoort wel 4 keer in het reguliere seizoen. En hij verkiest daarbij vooral kwaliteit boven kwantiteit.
Ce ballon en profondeur pour De Bruyne. Centre-tir, c'est goal. Est-ce que c'est exactement ça qu'il a voulu réaliser, De Bruyne? C'est la question, mais le résultat est le même de toute façon. C'est l'égalisation pour le Racing sur un but donc magnifique.
Als het gaat om beslissende passes combineert KDB schoonheid met veelheid. Ook klierkoorts belet hem niet 9 pareltjes af te leveren in het reguliere seizoen. Vossen, Barda en Ogunjimi zijn de eerste om te profiteren.
C'est trop difficile de frapper au goal et je dis je vais le remettre et ouais, c'était bon aujourd'hui, c'est bon, c'est encore un assist pour moi.
De Genkse offensieve armada heeft een leider nodig in de play-offs en dat is nu net de ideale rol voor De Bruyne. Het vertrouwen dat het nummer 14 op dat moment al heeft, zal nooit meer verdwijnen. Hij dirigeert Genk tegen 100 km per uur naar de titel met 1 doelpunt en 7 assists. 8 keer beslissend dus en dat in amper 10 wedstrijden. De Bruyne bewijst dan al dat druk hem alleen maar beter maakt. Zijn ploeggenoten en supporters genieten mee.
De Bruyne dan met rechts. Schitterend knap. Schitterend van Gentenaar Kevin De Bruyne. En zo is daar plots vanuit het niks de 0-1. Hij maakte een heerlijke goal op de tweede speeldag hier in het Charlottestadion. Dit is ook een prachtig doelpunt.
Ja, dat is een bal dat je eigenlijk een beetje voorzet-shot moet trappen. En een voorzet, ja, dan kan ze gewoon doorkoppen. Dat is heel moeilijk. En de tweede paal is natuurlijk heel moeilijk. En oké, dat is een bal vol met risico. Oftewel belandt hij in de tribune, oftewel belandt hij er zo in. En ja, voor ons was het heel goed dat hij er natuurlijk zo in belandt.
Met de titel op zak verandert De Bruyne van een verlegen jongen in de ster van de competitie. Maar bevestigen is vaak het moeilijkste. En toch is het net dat wat hij doet in het volgende seizoen. Met Christian Benteke vindt De Bruyne voorin een ideale sparringpartner. Liefst 7 van zijn 14 assists zijn voor zijn collega Rode Duivel. En met een hattrick tegen Club Brugge, jawel, weer in een topper, wordt Kevin definitief King De Bruyne.
De Bruyne, ouais, superbe. Oh, il a frappé ce but! Mais il est somptueux ce goal de De Bruyne et il y a à peine 1 minute dans cette première période. Kevin De Bruyne, fantastique! De Bruyne maintenant, De Bruyne. Se répète inlassablement. Le bon déboulé, le ballon à peine repoussé. poussé. Et puis ce diable de Kevin De Bruyne, il est prodigieux. Un pied droit, pied gauche, c'est le même prix. C'est dedans. Il reste 6 minutes. Camus va ouvrir à gauche pour le buteur de service. De Bruyne fait sauter la pichenette. Le goal! C'est goal de Kevin De Bruyne. Incroyable, incroyable. 4-5. Le jusqu'au boutisme de Limbourgeois. C'est surréaliste. C'est superbe aussi le travail de Kevin De Bruyne.
De Bruyne verlaat België op het einde van dat seizoen, maar met 8 doelpunten doet hij dat in stijl. Het Gingse talent wordt uiteindelijk gespot door Chelsea, maar voor hij naar Engeland vertrekt en wat later furore maakt in Duitsland, zorgt De Bruyne wel voor een mooi afscheidscadeau. Hij scoort nog een laatste keer tegen de club van zijn thuisstad en is zo 10 keer beslissend op 6 confrontaties tegen Gent.
Avec ce coup franc maintenant et le but! L'égalisation, c'est Benteke!
Tegen Anderlecht, opnieuw een topwedstrijd, is er ook nog plaats voor een laatste assist voor Benteke. Alle elementen waren dus aanwezig voor een prachtig vervolg, maar enkel hij wist het al veel langer.
Balverlies van Hermoso. Dan wil hij een overtreding op Kokke. Niet gefloten. Dani Alves. Het is wel een topper op het scherp van de snij. En Jordi Alba. Oblak verkijkt er zich volledig op. Iedereen denkt eigenlijk, hij raakt hem verkeerd. En dan vliegt hij toch in de winkelhaak. Met een volley. 1-1. 10 minuten ver. Wat een geweldige topper is dit.
En Verratti met Mbappé. Messi in het centrum. Messi niet, maar Mbappé. Oh la la. 1-5. Kylian Mbappé had eigenlijk nog weinig laten zien in deze partij. Maar dit soort goals maken kan hij. Net zoals een van zijn idolen, Thierry Henry. Maar die bal binnenkrullen uit stilstand heeft hij al een paar keer gedaan. Maar dit is wel een van zijn knappere goals.
Welcome back to the Gold Coast for the Winter Festival of Football right here on Network 10. And there are changes aplenty from both sides at halftime. One of those is the youngster Darko Jarvi, you can see out there for Leeds United, as Brisbane Roar get it started in the second half. They finished off the first with a goal to Joe Knowles. They'll be looking to continue where they left off in that first half at the start of the second here, Scott McDonald. It's been a fascinating trial, and this is going to be the next step as we get to see a few of these youngsters from both sides off the bench.
Yes, no changes for Brisbane Roar, surprisingly, actually, Ben. A couple of changes for Leeds United, like you said there. Yabi in the midfield. £5 million from Manchester City as an 18-year-old. No pressure at all, eh? And 6'5" tall. Monster.
He played his youth football at Millwall, and we heard from Tony Dorigo. He spoke about having a look at him in this second half. So looking forward to seeing how he goes. Brisbane getting their bench sorted. Jesse Daly having a warm-up. So space down the left for Leif Davis. So he's getting to go at left back in this second half. He is playing in his preferred position, unlike Jack Harrison in the first. And this is a massive 45 minutes for Leif Davis, the 24. He's 22 years of age. And he spent last season on loan with Bournemouth in the Championship. Didn't get as many opportunities as he would have liked. He's back at his parent club and really needs to impress Jesse Marsh.
He does. Great opportunity for him now, isn't it? In terms of the injuries in that position. And games like this are really important for him to go and impress, like you said there, Jesse Marsh. And not just defensively, but from the attacking perspective as well, because they really like to get their fullbacks high and wide.
Here's another one of the new men, Tyler Adams, the American, signed last week on a 5-year deal from RB Leipzig. Another of Jesse Marsh's former clubs. Leif Davis looking to find the cross. Found Sinistera instead. The deflection is going to ensure this is a corner for the Whites. He's looked dangerous so far, the Colombian. Good signs for Leeds fans.
It is. He drops the shoulder really, really well here, doesn't he, as he gets in the box. Drops a little one. And it's actually a really good block from Jack Hingett there, because it's on its way to challenge Macklin Freck and goal there.
So the corner is dropping towards the head of Gelhardt. Get a chance to go again here from the set piece. Tommy Aldred getting himself about.
As he always does, Ben. He's thrown himself at a couple of things already tonight.
Such a rock at the back. Sam Greenwood is floating it and, well, almost lost in the lights. For Joe Gelhardt, he picked out of the way. Wasn't sure where it was. I'll get another chance to create an opportunity. Leeds. The delivery was dipping towards Strauch. Now it's Adams. Cody Drammer out there as well for Leeds in their second 45 minutes. The right fullback, where he won Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year. Just unable to keep that ball in from crossing the sideline. This is incredible. He was playing at Cardiff City in the Championship since January. He went on a 6-month loan, and in 6 months he won Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year for his performances in that period of the season for Cardiff City. And they're actually keen to have him back again, so that you feel is going to be something in Jesse Marsh's mind over this period in Australia and the pre-season, whether they keep him or they send him on loan again to keep getting up those match minutes. So the German Robin Koch and Greenwood. Adams to Davis. Sinistera had it pinched off him. He's been in the thick of things tonight, Henry Hoare.
Yeah, he has been. He's probably been Brisbane Roar's best player in terms of outlet for his team as well. He's done that excellently. He's drew fouls. He's got high and wide. He's tried to deliver balls into the box. Real promising. He had a great breakthrough season last year, and I think he's going to be a key player for Brisbane Roar once again this year.
Yeah, 5 goals in his first season in the Isuzu Youth A-League. Jarby and Leif Davis, first time delivery dealt with by Kai Truen. And he gets through a couple, almost en route to Mateusz Klich. And there's a little tug of the shirt spotted by Barrero. So let's go and check in with Leeds United's #1 fan down on the sideline, Tristan McManus.
Hello, guys. Yeah, well, what do we think? It's interesting. There's a lot of changes here. Just like Tony said, it's great to see Gabby there in the centre midfield. I wasn't sure. It was surprising that he wasn't part of the Calvin Phillips deal. I think that's what a lot of people thought it might have been part of that. He's obviously pushed Lewis Bate down the pecking order, which has surprised an awful lot of people. We've got 3 more players warming up here on the side. Diego Llorente, Somerville's warming up there, and Bamford as well. So we might see Joffrey coming off soon enough. Probably Lewis Sinisterra as well. Big half for Leif Davis. Oh, there we go. Get up there. Yeah, it's going to be a good season for Leif Davis, I feel. Cody Drama, interesting with Cody Drama as well. Like you said, he went out on loan to Cardiff last year. He was one of the first players, I guess, who went against Marcel Bielsa, because he likes to keep the under-23 around. But Cody Drama wanted game time, and he wouldn't stay. He went out to Cardiff, and he had a great season. I'd imagine he'd go back out on loan this season, especially when Bill Ayling comes back as well. But we'll see how we go. It's interesting here. Tyler Adams is out on the pitch. Good to see. Talk to you soon, guys.
Thanks, Tristan. So Greenwood slipping the pass in behind, and Brindle South with the clearance away, affording now an opportunity for Brisbane to break through the goal scorer, Joe Knowles, the most recent goal scorer in this match. And Henry Hoare gets a bake from Jay O'Shea because he went back to Hingett and didn't find the experienced Irish midfielder. But there's space here for Josh Brindle South. He has some motors as well, but on that occasion it was his passing which let him down.
Yeah, really poor there in terms of good position for Brisbane Roar, and you can see why Jay O'Shea's upset. You know, he's picked off in the middle of the pitch, and if there's one person you want on the ball in those areas, it's Jay O'Shea. You need to know who your good players are and when to play them, because they will get you into certain positions. So even early as this, Jay O'Shea wants to get on the ball and make things happen for his team, even as early as this in pre-season.
Jarby. Well, he decided to go. Was there a touch from Connor Chapman? It's going to be a goal kick, so the decision is not.
As we can see on the replay here, it's a difficult ball to deal with for a centre half. When it bounces in front of you there, you don't exactly know where your centre forward is on you. You don't know whether you want to take a touch on it or if you want to let it go. I think he was in between the both of them, and I think Macklin Freck was just pleased to see it go past his post in the end.
Truen again, strong as you'd expect. He went up over 50 appearances in the A-League men's competition last year. The 21-year-old, 53 senior appearances at just 21 years of age. And we talk about that in Australian football, getting youngsters more game time. Well, Kai Truan has certainly had that, and it's been invaluable for him. You can just see he's a leader despite his young age in this Roar lineup.
It's very versatile, Ben. You know, one of the last products out of the AIS as well. Was a huge promising talent when I was at the football club, and it's great to see him getting so many games. And like I said, in those 50-odd games, he must have played 3 or 4 different positions in those times. So he's learned a lot since he started, and again, now maturing and becoming a leader for Brisbane Roar.
So Mateusz Klich giving it away under some pressure from Knowles and also Truan, and it's Truan looking for Joe Knowles.
Just touching on Joe Knowles there previously when they counter-attacked, the pace he showed was very, very promising for Brisbane Roar. You know, to go and outbeat the 2 centre-halves at Leeds United. That's no easy mean feat coming up against, you know, Premier League centre-backs who are all really quick in this day and age. So that was really impressive to see that as well in his hold-up play.
Sam Greenwood looking up and seating Cody Drummer. And Josh Brindle-South has a problem. Drummer going all the way. And the deflection is going to be beneficial for Brisbane Roar in the end.
Again, Leeds United getting down those fullbacks, down those wide areas. And we see Drummer driving at Josh Brindle-South. Probably doesn't get tight enough and gets lucky there. I think it comes off Greenwood in the end as it breaks through.
Sam Greenwood, a second-half substitute tonight for Leeds. Just one start in the Premier League last season, and it came against Brentford in the final match of the season. How about that for pressure? In a match where they really had to win because Burnley were just above them. They were in the relegation zone. Burnley, of course, went down to Newcastle 2-1. And Leeds getting the job done with that Jack Harrison winner in the 94th minute. And Jesse Marsh, he was prone on the floor after that winner. Just the emotion, the release of stress after a moment like that. And it's something we don't have in the A-League men's competition. We do have it down the divisions here in Australia, promotion and relegation, but not at the top tier, and it can bring some serious drama towards those clashes between teams at the bottom of the table. Neat little backheel from Sinistera to Davis. Click. And Sinistera's pass to his opposite number, Knowles, and now Tom Aldred. So as you would expect in this second half, with the amount of changes, just looking a little disjointed, Leeds United. And Brisbane on the counter-attack with Mile Jusnic. Knowles. And he's going to use the speed of Nikola Mile Jusnic, the South Australian, earning a corner for Brisbane.
That was wonderful play down the left-hand side there. And a wonderful ball from Knowles, and going to the strength of Mile Jusnic as well, running at players, getting in behind players. And that's what Warren Moon will want to see a lot more of. Didn't really see that in the first half from him. Obviously early days, but was a big player when he was fit last season for Brisbane Roar. So they'll be wanting more of that before he comes off tonight.
Well, big set piece this for Brisbane. They can nab one back, get themselves back level. Really crowding in that 6-yard box, the Roar. Even Joe Gelhardt getting in there to protect his goalkeeper. And the header is away from Robin Koch, the big German, getting his frame about. Aldred, his header, is going to be comfortably grabbed by Klaassen. Just one appearance for him last season. Came off the bench against Wolves back in March after the injury to first choice Ilan Meslier. And of course, Leeds beginning their Premier League campaign against Wolves next month. Jarby and Click. And Joe Gelhardt making the run, fed by Matthias Click, and the bending strike just beyond Macklin Freak's post.
That was wonderful play there. Some little intricate play, one touch, two touch, as we see here. And then Gelhardt gets inside the box, drops his shoulder. And it's sort of half a come shot, come cross, isn't it? He gets his head up, but for me, he's trying to cross that ball. He's trying to get that far post for Davis in the back stick, but he doesn't commit himself to the ball. As we can see, lots and lots of changes now, Ben.
Yeah, this is going to make things interesting. It's the old commentator's nightmare as we see a flood of players out there. So, well, we'll try and get through as many as we possibly can. Jesse Daly's out there. Luka Vanovic scored a double in their Australia Cup win against Western Sydney a couple of months back. Scotty Neville's out there as well. And as Tristan was saying, Joe Gelhardt getting a rest. So there's Llorente, the Spanish centre-back. And there is the Dutchman, Crescencio Somerville. So Llorente, who was one of those four centre-backs used last season by, of course, Bielsa and then Jesse Marsh. It was a bit of a rotating situation with the amount of centre-halves they played, and Llorente gets his chance to impress now alongside Strauch, and you can see Bamford has taken the captain's armband. So Patrick Bamford, he did make the trip to Australia in 2019, played against Western Sydney Wanderers. He's going to be out there leading the line now with Gelhardt to the bench.
It's great to see him back out there. He got an absolute wonderful reception from the Leeds United fans. They know how important he is. You know, he was so close to getting that England call-up at one stage, you know, the season before last, and just an injury-riddled season full of frustration for him and Leeds United last season, and probably culminated into them, you know, having the type of season that they had.
Well, Joe Knowles, he's one man that hasn't been substituted off. Can he find Lofthouse? He finds Jesse Daly, who lays it off, and that is a superb save from Klaassen.
It's a wonderful save. Wonderful play down the right-hand side from Brisbane Roar. And I'm thinking when Knowles tries to cross this ball, it's the wrong option. It goes into Jesse Daly, who wonderfully passes it into Jay O'Shea. And it's a great left hand, isn't it, from Klaassen. But the opportunity was there to go into Jez Lofthouse, I felt, from Knowles, in behind the Leeds defence. Chose to cut it back. And as we've seen, great save. Corner kick to Brisbane Roar.
Well, that's how close they were to an equaliser, denied by the Norwegian goalkeeper. It was a dangerous delivery. Bamford got his head to it. It's another corner for Brisbane Roar, knocking on the Leeds United door here. The Den making plenty of noise behind the Leeds goal. And it's O'Shea. It's floated up towards Trewin. And Louis Zabala out to the left for Ivanovic, who takes on his man, Luka Vanovic. What a run! What a run from the youngster. He's come off that Australia Cup performance after an injury-riddled season, and you just feel like he's just taking on where he left off in that match.
Luka Vanovic can be anything he wants to be. With the pace and the skill that he's got, he can be a threat to any team, you know, at any level. He just needs more goals in his locker. Then if he can produce that this season, he'll be a huge player for Brisbane Roar. He'll be a huge threat tonight to Leeds United when he gets on the ball.
4 goals in the A-League for him last season. Klaassen with the punch. And Daly across to O'Shea. Chapman. And it will not drop to trouble Klaassen, but a good passage there for Brisbane. And Warren Moon nodding. Looked to be fairly pleased with what he's seen from the players who have just headed out there, and you probably understand why there has been a lift in intensity from the team from Brisbane. These youngsters out there wanting to impress their coach.
Yeah, they all probably would have been disappointed as well, Ben, not starting the game. Everyone wants to play in these spectacle games against top quality opposition, show what you're all about. So now they get the opportunity to get out there. They'll be full of energy trying to prove themselves.
Davis towards Greenwood. And Scott Neville, who was so important for Brisbane last season. 25 starts across all 25 appearances last season. So consistent for Brisbane in a defence which was pretty solid for a team that finished 11th, had the 7th best defensive record in the Isuzu Youth A-League. Greenwood and Adams really applying the blowtorch to Jay O'Shea, but he's able to wriggle free and find the pass to Daly. Too strong from Somerville, and then he's fouled according to Jonathan Barrero.
It's wonderful energy from Somerville here to go, firstly to go and win it. He gets it back, he drives it. I think it's Chapman, makes a clumsy challenge, and most definitely a foul. Jesse Daly just getting caught on it early into the game for him. Welcome to the game from Somerville. He soon found out how quick the pace is out there.
Came off the bench 6 times in the Premier League last season. And he's after more game time this year, as the loud cry is maybe a spectator who's had a bit too much to drink, getting tackled by security. But that's all sorted. They didn't get onto the pitch, so the free kick from Greenwood, cut out by Truant. And now Lofthouse. Oh, they were a little unaware of just how quick Jez Lofthouse is. Ivanovic has Lofthouse making that forward run. Llorente couldn't help but commit the foul. Brisbane are going to go quickly. O'Shea shaped to play the pass, did eventually. Zabala and Truant. Looks over here. And Louis Zabala couldn't track down the pass from O'Shea.
Great idea, though. That's what Jay O'Shea's really good at. And pretty much Brisbane Roar trying to mimic what Leeds United were doing in the first half there. Trying to get their fullbacks in there high and wide and trying to find that ball over the top. Just was a little bit heavy, like you said.
So heading towards the final 20 minutes of regulation time of this one. Riku Danzaki, he is back at Brisbane Roar this season. He spent some time on loan from Consadole Sapporo a couple of seasons ago, where he won their Golden Boot, Brisbane Roar. Didn't get much game time with JEF Chiba United, so he's back at Brisbane this year on loan for 6 months, with potentially an opportunity of extending that one. So we're going to see him shortly, but in the meantime, it's another set piece for Brisbane.
You've got to say, if you're Warren Moon, you must be really, really pleased in terms of the performance thus far. The corner's taken short.
O'Shea looked dangerous for a moment, but just had a little too much power behind it. And that may prove to be the moment that Brisbane are going to make these changes. So Mlinaric is going to replace Connor Chapman. Kai Truan is also going to leave Seabus Super Stadium, and then Josh Brindle South. So Riku Danzaki won that golden boot for Brisbane in the 2021 season with 9 goals. Just 4 appearances for JEF Chiba United in the second division in Japan last campaign, so you can totally understand why he wants to come back into the Brisbane Roar side, get some more game time. And how about that for a first touch to get things started? You can see why Brisbane are excited, the fans of the Roar, to have him back at the club.
It's a wonderful signing, Ben, for Brisbane Roar, you know, in terms of the quality that he showed when he was here the first time round. Played with him, know his strengths, as we see here. Wonderful little Cruyff turn here. And they'll be hoping for big things from him. The one thing he brought to them was speed and runs in behind last, you know, a couple of seasons ago.
O'Shea towards Neville. Klaassen with the long arms brings it under control. Leif Davis rushing down that left, had a enterprising start to this second half, but it's been Brisbane who have really had the better of the match for at least the last 5 to 10 minutes.
They've got the grips with those wide areas a little bit better, and had people in better positions higher up. When they've won the ball back, they've had outlets. They didn't really have that in the first half, so second half they've done that a hell of a lot better.
Strauch and Greenwood, good strength to stay on the ball. Davis finding Click. Greenwood's touch falls into the path of Jarvie. So Click, the Polish international, 40 times capped, couple of goals for his national team. And one back by Brisbane, using the speed again on offer from Jez Lofthouse, but even with the pace he possesses, he couldn't keep it from crossing the sideline. So just a reminder, if this one finishes level, we do go to a penalty shootout. I know it sounds strange in a pre-season friendly, but that is what we could have on offer if Brisbane are able to find an equaliser. O'Shea. Lenaric. He's now signed with Brisbane after he spent last season on loan from Sydney FC. Louis Zabala did get cleaned up after the pass, but it found Ivanovic. Luke Ivanovic didn't get the purchase behind the strike.
Great play from Brisbane Roar, and like I said, Ivanovic using his pace and his strength again, getting into that box, and just that final thing, like I talked about earlier, if he can get that finishing product, that end product right, and keep improving, he could be a right top player. Just here, just doesn't strike the ball cleanly, and in the end it's a comfortable save for Klaassen. Great opportunity though. Jesse Marsh will be frustrated, I reckon, because it's been quite sloppy from Leeds United this second half. It's not been moving as quickly.
Lenaric, his header picked off by Somerville. And now Danzaki had a little dink up and just nearly opened up for the Japanese attacker. Mateusz Klich. And Bamford appreciates the service, but would prefer it to his feet. And it's been a tough period since he's come onto the park. Pat Bamford really has struggled to get a touch on the ball. We know he's coming back from that ruptured foot. He actually said last year he only managed 9 Premier League games. He said he tried to get back too quickly from a number of injuries, and it didn't help his cause. Had groin, hamstring, and then did that foot injury in March, and then missed the final match of the season with COVID. So it was just one of those seasons. It's like he walked under a ladder or something.
Yeah, it was a nightmare season for him and for Leeds in terms of not having him out there on the football pitch and what he can produce for them. And his goals were sorely missed, like we talked about, and that's why the likes of Sinisterra is now in the has been bought, you know, to have that backup in case, you know, there is injuries. Build that squad and make it stronger.
Yeah, 2 goals last season compared to 17 for Bamford the season before. And here is Bamford on cue. Almost created something out of nothing there.
That was better play from Leeds United, actually getting it into the box rather than trying to play around with it too much in and around Brisbane Roar's box. It was actually delivery. How did they score the second goal? From across from similar situation, wasn't it? He gets up really, really well. He's very unlucky. Good contact.
Final quarter hour of this Queensland Champions Cup clash, and Jez Lofthouse in a foot race with Drama. How about that? The 2 youngsters going for it. The 20-year-old up against the 22-year-old Lofthouse. And O'Shea finding the man from Grew in North Queensland, Louis Zabala, from a cane farming family. Click. Things just for the moment moving a little quicker for Leeds. It's almost as if they can hear you, Scotty. Chatting before about just how Jesse Marsh may be a little frustrated with the speed of their ball movement.
Yeah, I think one of the big things to notice from the first half to the second is probably Rocker. You know, these deep-lying midfielders, they get taken for granted a lot of the time, but they start everything for you. And that's a wonderful ball there from Ivanovic.
Tanzaki charging after it, but Drama assessed the situation.
But he was just making things tick for them. You know, doing the simple things right, keeping the ball speed up, keeping the switch play. It's kind of slowed down in that middle of the pitch for Leeds United, and giving Brisbane Roar those little breathers that they need in between intervals, just to get back in shape and make it a little bit more difficult for Leeds to break them down.
So those 2 goals for Leeds coming in a matter of minutes, just after the 20-minute mark. Joe Knowles, the goal scorer for Brisbane, the trialist who's still out there. So Warren Moon has been impressed. He wants him to get some more game time. Bamford, Somerville attempted to trick his way past Mlinaric.
We've seen a lot of that in the second half. Leeds trying to break Brisbane Roar down on the edge of their own box rather than trying to spread the play, switch it, move it quickly. Just like we talked about, it probably will be frustrating Jesse Marsh to a degree. But it's early days. You know, this is a great workout for both teams in that sense, and seeing younger players as well and what they can bring to the table.
So Leeds have got that clash with Aston Villa on Sunday at Suncorp Stadium. Brisbane taking on Aston Villa in Townsville next Wednesday. So Macklin Ferrick, not with regular teammates out there. That pass going astray as he was looking for Tommy Jarrod. So he's a trialist for Brisbane out there. Strauch, Davis, Click, but 1-2. That was neat between Davis and Click, and then Tyler Adams had a drive towards goal. That would be a confidence-boosting start from Tyler Adams, who's just signed from RB Leipzig. Here's the 16-year-old Archie Gray. Of course, runs in the family, playing for Leeds United. His great uncle Eddie. We'll come back to that as Leeds almost snatched themselves a third. They'll get a corner. Llorente flying through at the back post, but here he is, Archie Gray. His great uncle Eddie was voted as the third greatest Leeds player of all time back in 2000.
His dad wasn't a bad player either. Good centre forward.
And his grandfather Frank as well.
Yep.
You can just keep reeling off the names, can't you, when it comes to the Greys and Leeds United. And here he is, impressed in the trial last week against Blackpool. Now what can the 16-year-old add to proceedings on the Gold Coast tonight? So just limited minutes for the American Tyler Adams, back to the bench. Came on at half-time. So Davis and Greenwood, and it's Greenwood the option, and it was Strauch who got up. They've had some chances in the last few minutes. Leeds just starting to turn the screws.
Havertz comes from another corner / cross, and he gets a great leap and a good contact on it. He probably wants more of a flush contact on it instead of glancing.
Ivanovic in a foot race with Strauch, and he got there first. Just the touch.
Yeah, getting back to that corner there. Really good opportunity for him. Like we see here, he gets up really well. Free head in the end. That's something that Brisbane Roar have sort of struggled with. They struggled with set pieces last year as well, Ben, and that's something that they're going to have to work on and improve on this season if they're going to get up the table as well. Not conceding, you know, silly goals from set pieces.
It was their defence from open play, which was quite strong last year. Brisbane, as we said, for a side that finished second last, their defence was mid-table quality, so they can tighten up that and grab some goals at the other end. Of course, Charlie Austin, the big signing from QPR. He is here tonight. We heard from him a little earlier, but he's not playing. He is expected to get some game time next week against Aston Villa. Joe Knowles. He would have to be fatigued, maybe just cramping up a little bit.
There's a commentator's curse again there. He just pulled up.
There's Charlie Austin watching on his new club. Cannot wait to see him in action. 32-year-old Greenwood facing forward. Bamford off balance. Archie Gray urged to shoot, the 16-year-old. And he's only just turned 16 as well. He turns 17 in March, so he can't sign a professional deal until then.
Albeit he's only been on a couple of minutes, but you can just see the way he takes the ball. He's a proper player. Very, very comfortable on the ball. Played a lovely ball through the lines there. Then went and received the next one and playing people in. So exciting for Leeds fans, because obviously there's a big family connection there as well. And like you said there, you know, his great uncle, Eddie Gray, you know, phenomenal for Leeds as a player and as a coach as well. So they'll be hoping good things and big things from him.
Greenwood's pass cut out by Daly. And O'Shea. Mlinaric to Lofthouse. He's had some openings in this second half. That's a little knock. And will earn a free kick for his team. Warren Moon just checking if Luke Ivanovic is all right. Gets the thumbs up. Wants to be careful with him after the injury issues he had last season in his first with Brisbane Roar. 9 starts in his 20 appearances for Brisbane last campaign, so majority of those coming off the bench. A real impact player, and he'll want to be working his way into that starting 11, but learning from the likes of Charlie Austin. Klaassen put under some pressure by Danzaki. Llorente's clearance, it's going to find Click. Oh, it's a wonderful ball, isn't it, under that kind of pressure?
That's top quality, isn't it, to find and pick your pass under that sort of pressure.
Well, they don't give out caps in the Spanish national team for free. 10 caps for Llorente. Was part of the squad at the Euros last year, but didn't get on the pitch. But I just think being in that environment make you a better player.
Well played.
Ivanovic, fed by Knowles, who's hit the deck, but they're going to play on. Zabala's cross deflected off Strauch. Danzaki flung himself about. And you've been really impressed tonight by Joe Knowles as he feeds Neville. Down he goes.
He's been wonderful, hasn't he? You know, in terms of not playing at this level for a very, very long time, in terms of even A-League level, to come here and play Leeds United tonight, get your goal, which obviously gives you the high to go on and the adrenaline to push on, but to last 85 minutes as well. Obviously he is in season, which helps, but this is a different type of tempo, and he can be proud of his performance tonight, and a real big promising thing for Brisbane Roar as well.
O'Shea's delivery under the head of Jarvie, and it's Knowles again giving chase. If you haven't seen his goal in the A-League for Perth Glory, it was a wonderful finish on the volley. He's got some serious quality, Joe Knowles, and hopefully he'll get another opportunity at that level this year if Warren Moon gives him a contract with Brisbane.
Yeah, well, it shows you that there is quality out there, Ben, in terms of the lower leagues, so to speak, in Australia at MPL level. It's just the opportunity. When you only have 23-man squads in a 12-team league, it's very, very difficult for these guys to get their breakthrough. And obviously from financial aspects as well, when you're part-time and you have jobs, sometimes you're better off than what you would be in the A-League, and that's just an actual fact and a reality. But it's great to see players, you know, even likes of Knowles at 25 years of age, wanting to, you know, have that dream of playing professional football, and been given the opportunity now to go and do it, and to score a goal on his debut tonight is a wonderful thing, and will give a lot of hope to other players as well playing at MPL level.
Mateusz Klich and Greenwood. Luke Ivanovic thought about giving chase, but Strack was able to track it down for Leeds. Now Archie Gray. So if Brisbane can grab an equaliser, there will be a penalty shootout to finish this one. It's a 1-goal margin at the moment. Leeds can try and seal away the victory here through Bamford on the turn. It was almost going in slow motion for Macklin Freak, but he got across and he pushed it around the post.
It's actually a really good save. He has to make the save. You know, it's one of those ones where it hasn't got a lot of pace on it. It sort of makes you second guess it. But this is what he's really good at. Top striker, half a yard, gets a roll, gets a turn on his favoured left foot. Probably doesn't get the contact he wants, but just enough, and is still going in that bottom corner. So Macklin Freak, really, really good save.
Now from the corner, Strauch is up again. He'll be disappointed. Pascal Strauch, he's had a couple of opportunities from set pieces where he's got there first and hasn't made the keeper work for it. So here come another few trialists for Brisbane Roar. They've got Rio Matsumura there in 22, Henry Cliff, and also A-League fans will remember the name Abraham Majok, who's actually been playing for Amazulu in South Africa. There's Henry Cliff, the former Nudgee student who went over to Spain in the lower levels and now is back with Brisbane. He was playing in their youth system and with Brisbane City as well. So Jay O'Shea leaving the park. Matsumura, he's a Japanese journeyman. He spent some time in the J-League, the J2 League, most notably with Vissel Kobe. And there is Abraham Majok, who spent some years with Western Sydney and the Mariners. A couple of goals during his time, 21 matches in the Isuzu Youth A-League. And here is a touch for Majok. Lofthouse has drama going backwards. Danzaki with the back heel, and somehow Jez Lofthouse has missed what was an open goal. Warren Moon can only chuckle.
I'm laughing here as well. I'm thinking we're going to penalties here. It must go in, surely. Lofthouse, wonderful feet. Riku with a lovely back heel, and it's just ping-pong in there. It just doesn't lie for Jez Lofthouse. It's just that reaction one. It comes back to him all of a sudden. He just can't get the full contact on it to find the net.
Well, there's still some time for Brisbane to send us into what would have been an unlikely penalty shootout. Looking for the penalty, but he got straight back up. Somerville and the crowd, they're into this match. Maybe for the first time tonight, there's a bit of passion on show here on the Gold Coast. There's a free kick for Brisbane.
Again, we've not even talked about Tommy Jarrett, who's come on the football pitch. He plays his trade in the NPL as well for Lions in the Queensland NPL. Wonderful tackle there. And a great story again. He's on trial for Brisbane Roar tonight, and a great opportunity for him as well.
Couple of goals in 11 matches for Lions, and he did come through the Brisbane Roar youth system. Went back to NPL level, actually worked as a physio outside of his semi-professional football commitments, but a shot at a full-time contract for Tommy Jarrett, who worked, of course, with Warren Moon when he was at Lions. So plenty of storylines coming out of this match, mainly for Leeds. Right on cue, the left fullback position. It's going to be a bit of a headache, you feel, for Jesse Marsh. Jack Harrison trialled there in the first half. Leif Davis getting an opportunity in the second. It's a hole they're going to have to try and fill. And for Brisbane Roar, I have a bit of confidence boosted by the threat they've shown in the final third, but it was an issue for them last season, just finishing. Great. It's hurt them tonight.
Yeah, again, some great opportunities in this second half. They can be really proud of their performance in the second half. You know, at 2-0 down.
Davis is bending. Falls for Archie Gray. Heavy first touch. The Leeds fans again wanted him to unload.
As I was saying, they're 2-0 down so quickly, one after the other. You're thinking this could be a long night for Brisbane Roar, but they recovered really well. Got back into the game, got their goal, obviously through Knowles, and then really, really good performance second half. Probably the better team with the better chances, you'd have to say, Ben.
Yeah, they have had some good patches in their second half, Brisbane. Mlinaric looks out to the space on the left. There's the youngster, Henry Cliff, but turned over by Mlinaric. Bamford linking with Drama. And again, Scotty Neville there with the captain's armband. Now making a charge up the ground. Will Jonathan Barrero allow one last play here for Brisbane?